Hello, everybody. J-Man here, back talking some women of wrestling. I've adjusted my background so you can actually see some of the wrestling stuff a little bit better. Above this, though, is my Becky Lynch, Becky Two Belts plaque, which you can't see, but if you did, you would say it's the damn greatest thing ever. And you can now see my Police Academy 4 poster above my head here, which is arguably one of the finest films ever made. I'm not sure who would argue that, but I'm sure somebody would argue it. But anyways, we're starting a little late today because that's how I roll. I started late because I just decided to start late. How do you like them apples? Hey, Arkham, Poison Ivy poster. That's mounted. That is mounted. I had that poster mounted. It's awesome. I saw your tweet, Arkham, but I was just setting up the live stream when I got it. I actually, we'll talk about Frank. It's tough to say anything bad about Frank Miller because Dark Knight Returns was a very important comic, and also the Daredevil stuff is very good. And Sin City was pretty good too. So Frank Miller's hit or miss for me. I like Dark Knight Returns. I love the Daredevil stuff, but I don't care about the Dark Knight Strikes Again. Dark Knight 3 is not too bad. So that's my opinion on Frank Miller, but people do use him too much, so he is overused a bit. All right, that's the update. So let's get my co-host in here. Howdy ho.
Yeah, Frank Miller, everyone talks about him, and I'm like, he's good. He's good. I like Frank Miller. But, he's not God, guys. Calm the hell down.
But the thing is, those guys, Grant Morrison, Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Batman comics were piss. They're doing poorly.
Yeah.
No one cared about Batman. You can't, I mean, the Dark Knight Returns is killer. It's all my toys, most of my toys are from that. I don't like the way Superman is treated though in that comic. I don't like Green Arrow particularly in that comic either. But Batman comes off really good. I have the old toys. I have all the old toys when that came out, except for Joker, which for some reason I just couldn't find him. And they're all on the shelf here. And I got the new ones. I bought the new Superman. I didn't buy the new Batman, but really I should have bought the new Batman because I really should have got that. That look of Batman I do like. So look, and Daredevil. Frank Miller, he put Daredevil on the map. Yep. The Hand, the Elektra, Bullseye, getting Kingpin, talking to Stan and saying, "Can I have King?" or whoever was doing Spider, "Can I have Kingpin?" I mean, all of that is bloody 10 out of 10. And Batman and Daredevil are in my top 10 favorite characters of all time. And he elevated the crap out of them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's is he consistently the best? No, because nobody is, but there's going to be things that aren't that good. But let me tell you, I'll tell you really quick. Here's my problem with Frank. My problem is not with Frank Miller. My problem is with people who only know Frank Miller. And then that's their go-to person for everything. Yeah. It's that's my problem. Yeah, as always, I have zero problems with Zack Snyder. I have zero problems with Frank Miller. I have zero problems with James Gunn. I have zero problems with Brandon Routh or Bryan Singer. I have zero problems with all these people. They had their visions, whatever. Frank Miller Batman, I liked it. Frank Miller Daredevil, super duper mega thumbs up. That's some of the best stuff ever. Okay. But he's not the only guy who wrote Daredevil. He's not the only guy who wrote Batman. Right? It's I like Jim Aparo art. That's kind of I can never do his full name. I just say Lopez, Garcia Lopez. Superpowers artist Garcia Lopez. That's the real Batman. Neil Adams, Lopez, Jim Aparo. That's my three Batmans right there. Yep. That's it for me. That's the three Batmans. Superman, you got lots of artists. Neil Adams can draw anybody, so you can put him down. Yeah. Did I say Neil Adams? Jim Lee, yeah. Neil Adams is for Batman too. All those guys. Well, basically, you can look at Rob Liefeld's top Batman people, and that's that.
That's it. Yeah.
So, but everyone just goes to that. And that's the same thing with Zack Snyder. If you love Zack Snyder, you love Zack Snyder. You can watch it and be like, I love this movie. But you can't pretend that's the only thing there is in your mind.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Yeah. I love a lot of crap movies, right? You like Constantine. It's not Constantine, A-double-C. It's not Constantine, but you like the movie? Okay. But you're aware that there's other things, and then that's not the real Constantine. You know what I'm saying? It's you can't close your mind.
The movie Constantine is good, but the best Constantine is Matt Ryan. Hey,
Matt Ryan looks cool. Double C, yeah.
No,
So
the best actual Constantine is Matt Ryan.
yeah,
That's it. He is Constantine. That there's no doubt. If you look at the comic and you put Matt Ryan beside it,
that's him.
that's him.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is not Constantine. He is not Constantine. Not
Yep.
British. Not blonde. Movie's good. Best depiction of hell I've ever seen. 100%.
Oh, in the Keanu movie?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. I have it on Blu-ray. I just got well, I'll show this. I already had this on DVD, but I upgraded it to Blu-ray because it's Batman and I must
Yep.
So did you get this or do you have this? I don't know if you already had this. This is okay. There's too many Batman things.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
Cover
doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah. This is Adventures of Batman.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the new
Adventures of Batman.
So the best is to look at the back and see what episodes are on it, and then go by that.
It's the it's the art from the animation. As soon as I see that, I know what Batman we're talking about.
So
I have that. I got the big one that was both.
Which was both, right? Yeah. So that's why a lot of people already had this.
Yeah.
So, and I already had it also, but it's Blu-ray, and I'm just like a sucker. I'm like, oh, I'll just order it. I didn't order Batman Beyond on Blu-ray because Batman Beyond is not Batman. Like, I need this.
Yep.
If it's blue and gray Batman, there is probably 100% chance that I'm getting that.
I got Batman Beyond, but it's because I decided to get every Bruce Timm thing I could.
Batman Beyond is a good cartoon. I have the whole thing for sure.
Yeah.
But it ain't blue and gray Batman.
Nope.
Blue and gray Batman is
I 100% agreed. Yeah. Blue and gray Batman is my Batman.
Yeah. He's trash, Constantine. But the movie, every single person that I know likes that movie, including Sean and Steve.
My dad likes it.
The Batman? Are you talking about like Chris Pattinson?
Batman, the last one?
Well, our buddy Arkham here loves it. He's seen it 47 times. Yeah, Matt Ryan is better. Yeah. Arkham has seen it many, many, many times. I've seen it about 3 or 4 times. Look, I'm not going to bash the Batman. It's boring. It's too long. The bottom line is it's too long. It doesn't need to be that long, period. It could have been 2 hours and it would have been a lot better if you just had the same exact movie, because there's still other problems with that movie besides the length of it. But if it was 2 hours with the same problems it had, those problems wouldn't be as bad because it's too long, right? Somehow Ant-Man 3 is darker than the Batman because I can't see shit in Ant-Man 3, but I'm going to watch that again. Yeah, I don't know which Batman we're talking about. Yeah. But anyways, I buy every Batman thing. I'm really upset that I didn't get that Dark Knight Batman now that I'm thinking about it. Shit, I had it in my hand too. And I already have the original Dark Knight Batman, but he's a bit crouchy. I don't know if I like the crouchy thing. I bought the Superman because it's Superman. I'm such a sucker for all these. I've been watching the Linda Carter Wonder Woman series on Blu-ray. It's magical. It's just magic. I love it. I feel very comfortable when I watch. There's certain shows I watch and I feel very comfortable. Like I watch Linda Carter Wonder Woman. I just feel like, wow, this is Wonder Woman. She's a good person.
Yeah.
It's a smile. And she puts a smile on my face and she's always smiling. Yeah. Even when she beats up the guy, she throws him into, walls or whatever she throws him into. And it's still fun. Yeah. Batman with Robert Pattinson. Yeah. It's way too long. Watch it and you tell me what you think. I don't like the ending. Well, I don't know. I'm okay with the ending, but I don't like the conclusion of Riddler's story at all. I don't like that. It's too long and it's too dark. That's the top 3 problems. There's other little problems, but that's top 3. Steve has, I think, a lot more than problems with that than I do.
So, Double C, I'm not going to get into it. I want you to watch it and make your own assessment. I've beaten up that movie countless times. I don't want to discourage people. I want you to make your own judgment, your own opinion. If you come back and you want to talk about it, I'll gladly talk about it.
For sure.
Arkham
really likes it. So I don't want to beat up because like Arkham's a true Batman fan. And I don't want to like beat this up.
I beaten up that movie enough that I'm trying to get away from dwelling on movies I don't like anymore.
I gave it 7.5 out of 10, which is really high, Arkham. But yeah, Steve. Yeah, no, I'm with Steve. Like, we don't need to beat this up anymore.
Yeah.
It's just done. Yeah. My Action Comics review is 5.5 out of 10. Superman #1 was 7.5 out of 10, which is astronomical for me because I'm very picky. I could see people giving it 10 out of 10. Anyway, all right. So we don't have a lot to talk about today,
Yeah.
so I didn't mind chit chatting a bit because there's really my notes are like this big. I did post a poll. So Steve, this is the poll. The poll is: are you happy Damage Control lost the titles? And my I didn't just say yes or no. I've got it's about time. Yes, but not this way. Or no, that was stupid. That's what I put. Now you can tell me your pick, or we'll talk about it when we talk about it.
Okay.
Let's do SmackDown real quick. So we had Charlotte Flair and the greatest heel of all time, Dominic Mysterio, talking. He's like calling her Queenie and all that. I don't know. I'm now seeing Facebook posts. They're like Dominic Mysterio is like all over on social media. Everyone is talking about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say this is a good start. Because he's just so insane and it's so great. He's like, "Hey, Queenie and mommy and all that." I'm like, what is happening right now? And then they go to the commentators like, I thought he was flirting with her and all. They were flirting with each other. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just and then she's like Charlotte's like, oh, I've got a real man now, or what.
Yeah, with
His
a
accent is
much thicker accent.
I mean, Dom's like, what else did he say? Yeah, thicker accent. That was funny. And like, yeah, he's like, Dom was like daddy and all that. And like Rhea, of course, came out. I don't know. I thought this exchange was I think it was like kind of pointless, but pretty funny. So I was like, okay with it.
It was entertaining. I think Charlotte needs a true heel to get over more as a face. So you have to do stuff like this. You have to, because again, it's nothing about her says face. She comes out, and all that, and she's got her face. I'm like, she's a tall, beautiful blonde.
Yeah.
Doesn't scream face.
Yeah.
Screams classic heel. So you gotta do stuff like this, even if it seems pointless. This is necessary for the character if you want to play her as a face, because she's not gonna get over without help. Sorry. I don't care how many people may respect Charlotte Flair. I could see him winning the IC title to Double C with help. Right? Like I could see him getting
that Gunther is like on fire, man.
Gunther is awesome. He's a guy who you're eventually going to need to turn face because he's too respectable.
Yeah.
Like his character's too respectable. He's like, the mat is sacred and all this, and he's the ring.
I love that.
It's starting to get too face to me. So I'm like, it's hard for me to I don't care if he's got Imperium with him. He's not doing enough heel stuff for my liking. He's like, his character's too respectable. It's almost like like a professional, right? And they are going to have to.
Yeah, you froze on me, Steve. I don't know if that's you or me.
I didn't freeze, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think you're frozen. Okay, anyways, you're back. Yeah, the problem is his character is a heel because he's a heel, but actually, if this was real, he would be good because he's like, yeah, it's sacred. Like you would be excited for someone who takes it so serious.
Yeah.
And that makes him cool. So it's like he's in that weird spot where you're like, yeah, he's right. Like everything he's saying is right, but it's like somehow he's a heel because of that. But
yeah,
so he's on that kind of like I could see him fight anyone because he's like, look, I'm here for competition. Yeah. I'm here to see who's the best. I don't care who I got to fight, right? I don't think he's got like friends. Like he's like, oh, I'm not gonna like sometimes they do the things where the heels stick together and they're like, well, I like that, but he's like, no, I don't care.
Well, it's because I think they started out with him being like they started off with the right thing where he had that funky and it's like, oh, you're in the presence of greatness now and sort of that whole thing, which is heel stuff. But they've gotten away from that somewhat. and he is performing really well. So he is backing it up. So he's not like Dom where he comes out and he sucks, but it's like he keeps talking himself up as great, which is why J-Man loves him. But
Yes.
like he's actually Gunther's actually can back it up. Like he is actually the ring general. So it's getting kind of hard to get to like he's not really doing heelish things to me. He rolls with two guys. I'm like, not really. Everyone rolls with two guys nowadays. So
yeah. I need two guys to roll with me. I was thinking of putting Dominic Mysterio and placing Nia Jax.
You'll have to get rid of the women of World Wrestling then. Unless you put a
yeah, it's pretty tough if I'm getting rid of a woman to put. Maybe I'll put Piper Niven because I like her too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her. So then we had Natalya with Tegan Nox versus Shayna with Ronda there. Natalya tapped out. Tegan was interfere. I felt like Tegan was just there, and then she realized, should I be doing something? Because like you weren't. It was just like a bit weird. But Ronda is so funny. So I'm the Ronda apologist, but she's like, "Who's this?" She was like saying, "Who's that? Who is this?"
Skittles? She called her Skittles.
I love when people don't know the other wrestlers. It's super funny to me. Like with The Rock, like who in the blue hell are you? And well, it's like I love that.
Well, it's Ronda talking to the random inclusion of Tegan Nox there. Like she overheard a conversation in the trainer's room, and she's like, I'm with you, Natalya. I'll come out with you. I'm like, that was like The Simpsons, where Homer, where Sideshow, where Krusty the Clown's like, will you help me take on the mafia? And Homer's like, for an acquaintance like you, absolutely. Casual acquaintance like you, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like that scene like that. Like, are you going to take on these two legit badasses?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tegan Nox. It's like, hey, I'll come out with you. Okay.
What's wrong? Like, who is this person? Like, yeah, I'd be the same way. Like, I haven't had anything to do with you. Why are you here?
Remember when that fan joined the Shield?
No.
You remember that? If you look up, so guys, if you haven't seen this, you remember the Shield, obviously. If you look up random fan joins the Shield, you can watch the YouTube video. So the Shield comes out, and at one point, there's so many of them. Yeah. This fan hopped over and got in the ring and was standing with them. Like nobody noticed because there's so many.
Yeah, so and then Roman looked at me. He's like, "What?
What? Who's this guy?"
Bray Wyatt literally laughed for an hour after that.
It was like, who's this guy? Like, and the title of the video is like, "Random fan joins the Shield." Remember Nation of Domination? There was like 1,000 guys came out. You're like, can you even keep track of who's in this thing? Like,
it was a group of men who walked to the ring. It was ridiculous.
Oh my god, that's the best. All right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, look, I like Ronda. They're funny on social media. Bailey called her out because Ronda's like, who even cares about these stupid tag belts? And she spelled Damage Control CNTRL. And then Bailey's like, learn to spell the champs' names right. And she's like, show up every week and watch them like, kick ass. You're like, okay. I do like these like fights on social media, which are like just silly. I watched the Ariel interview with Bailey. It was like, it's only like a 25-minute one.
Oh, that'll be a good one to watch.
Sorry?
That'd be a good one to watch.
Oh, it's so good. And it's just candid. So she's just like, she was in Japan. She finished that Raw episode, flew to Japan to be there for Sasha Banks winning the title, was there for like 48 hours and then flew back to go. So like, I mean, I don't know. And then Bailey was talking like how she had less than 1 day notice for SummerSlam. She had called Triple H and they were talking like, okay, what do you want to do? How are we going to bring you back? Triple H came up with a thing, called her. She was asleep because she was in a different time zone. And she's like, oh, Triple H calls. She calls him back. He's like, yeah, can you come to SummerSlam tomorrow? or whatever and do this whole angle. And she's like, tomorrow, you mean now? Because it's like, we're in a different time zone. He's like, oh yeah, I mean right now. It's like, oh, okay. So she literally, it's like, okay, shit. She got there, like literally got there and then went out. It's like, okay, did the thing or whatever. And so kudos to her. And then they're trying to figure out, like, she wanted 5 members. And she's like, let's use these two. Like they go through the whole thing. It's really cool. And Triple H like, look, we can't, we don't want to have like so many people. And they came up with different names. So like, it was like, they're just she's like, talks about the whole process, like how we came up with the name Damage Control and what we were trying to think about and all that. It's really cool. I really like Bailey a lot. Like I like when the people in real life, talk, and I like that she's just talking normal. She's like, yeah, she's like, Sasha was my friend. I went down there to help her out. It's like, it's nothing against any company. We've been friends for a long, long time. I support her. They said, do you think she would ever come back? She's like, yeah, I think she could come back. And it could just be friends talking, right? But
I don't think anything with WWE is like Warrior coming back.
Right.
Warrior coming back was the end. Because Warrior and Vince McMahon, there was no bigger gap.
Right.
There was nothing. And if you're like, oh, Warrior, okay, I'll give you another name, Bret Hart. Bret Hart spat on the man and then punched him.
Right.
Bret Hart came back.
Right.
Bret Hart came back and embraced Shawn Michaels, who he beat up for legit in the back. What's Sasha's beef? Oh, money.
Yeah, who cares?
There's one guy
go ahead.
Me wrong, and that's CM Punk.
CM Punk, CM Punk. Yeah.
That might prove me wrong.
I think the first time I noticed something was up was Ultimate Warrior. Warrior, because I was in that age where I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is when I first started to realize like how much business is involved in this. Like, you always knew wrestling was like a staged event or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, you just accept it and watch it just like you'd be watching a movie or a television series, right? Or a soap opera or whatever you would watch. Anyway, or a theater play or something. The actors are fake, but you're watching it. So Warrior, I could see him. Like, I see Hogan. It's just he's winding down. Ultimate Warrior's going up.
He's ascending. Yeah.
And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Like literally, he's just whatever that show was where he's like, I want X number of dollars, or I'm not going out to perform tonight.
Wasn't it?
SummerSlam. Vince is like, writes the check. There you go. Came back. He's like, that was your severance. You're out of here.
Yeah.
Right. And like literally, you're like, where's Ultimate Warrior? Like then you just didn't see him, and you're like, what happened? All of a sudden, Hogan's back, and he's back at the next pay-per-view or Mania, and he's headlining Mania again. I think I don't know if it was Sergeant Slaughter or who he was fighting in that one. I don't know if it was 7 or 8. I can't remember. One of them, he was fighting Sergeant Slaughter, and I'm like, Hogan's back. And it's like, what the hell happened? And I remember thinking, did Warrior do? You know what I mean? Like, this is when I was first aware that there's like some sort of shenanigans going on backstage that I didn't really know about. And it's like, yeah. Then I was like, okay, yeah, I know what's going on. Warrior did this big thing. He had the ultimatum, and he's gone. I'm like, I got it now. I understand wrestling. Then Warrior came back, and I was like, okay. And even then I knew, I'm like, no, this is like not happening. I mean, Bret Hart, that's a different story. Warrior, because it was like, literally guys and everyone watched wrestling at that time. And if you say you didn't watch it because you were too cool, that was a lie. Everyone watched it. I remember at school, it was getting heated. Like, people were like, I'm on Hogan's team. I'm Team Hogan. People were like, no, I'm Warrior. Shit. It was getting heated. Like, people were like, what the fuck? You fucking know. And I'm like, dude, it's wrestling, guys. Like, it's like, but it was and then Warrior's gone. And it was so weird to me. Bret Hart happened in a time where I was much older, right? We're older. We understand how this works. But Ultimate Warrior was the first time where I'm like, wait, what's happening? Where is this guy? Like, the guy just won belts. Like, what is happening? Oh, he's just not around anymore. It's like, oh, okay. So that was messed up. And then you start to think like, yeah, this is a business. You can't, if I'm at a job and I start saying F you and I start demanding stuff, like, okay, see you later, buddy. We'll get someone else,
Yeah.
Bruno.
Yeah. Bruno was gone forever. he was like, he was done with Vince. He's like, he badmouthed him every chance he got. Bruno Sammartino, in his day, there was no one bigger. There was no one bigger.
Yep. I know Bruno Sammartino.
And he left for a long time. A long, long time. He was number one, but Triple H smoothed things over. Bruno Sammartino came back. Didn't wrestle, obviously, because he was too old, but he came back. He said he'd never come back.
Yeah, and all these guys, they come and go. So it's like, that's when you know that, I mean, look, it's a business. Again, they come and go. And if you want them back, you can make a deal or whatever. So Sasha Banks can come back. Naomi got slightly screwed, but also Naomi screwed Naomi. She walked off too. Why didn't she stay?
Yep.
Why didn't she say, no, I'm staying? Like, I don't know the thought process. Like the thought process of Bret Hart, I sort of understand the thought process, but also he had to, I kind of think Bret Hart was wrong. And we can even do like I don't know if there's no point doing a stream on it, but I feel that Bret Hart was kind of wrong. It's like, you're in a business, buddy. I understand you want to leave, but you got to drop the title.
Briefly, we can talk about briefly because we don't have a lot of women to talk about. So with Bret Hart gave an ultimatum, and that's where he screwed himself.
Right.
Like, here's the thing. Vince signed Bret. He's like, really can't fulfill his contract. He gave Bret the chance to talk to WCW. He came to an agreement with WCW because WCW is just throwing money around.
Yep.
So then Vince is like, okay, I got to get the belt off you. The guy he wants to give it to is Shawn Michaels. That's what he's setting up because, Vince McMahon, this is pre-crazy Vince McMahon. He would set things up. So he's already thinking about Shawn Michaels, what's the next step?
Right.
Bret Hart didn't want to do business. Exact words of Triple H. Didn't want to do business. So they decided to do business for him because he's leaving. And at the end of the day, Bret Hart, just like all the other guys, I know his real name is Bret Hart, but he's a character in a show. They call Raw and SmackDown the longest running episodic shows on television. It would be the same. And sometimes you see stuff like that. Sometimes you see actors lose their minds and say, I'm not going to, I don't want to die or I don't want to do this thing. And they get too invested in the character. And I think Bret Hart got too invested in the character and he got too invested in his dislike for Shawn Michaels, Michael Hickenbottom, instead of saying, okay, do I really care? The title's gone after this, but he didn't want to drop it to Shawn. That was literally it. He didn't want to drop it to Shawn in Montreal. That was it. He literally said, I'll hand it over to you the next day. I'll come back to Raw last day and hand it over to you. And that's it. You can have a tournament. I just don't want to drop it to Shawn in Montreal. But that's what Vince wanted. Right? It's the same as your boss coming to you and say, I want you to teach so-and-so to do this job. And you're like, I don't want to teach Bob. I don't like Bob. I'll teach anyone else but Bob. They're like, you got to teach Bob.
Yeah. Bob's the guy we hired to do this. So yeah, no. And then I could say, F you, I'm leaving, but then I'm done.
Yep.
Right. So like, again, and that is what happened. So like, who's at fault? But the other thing is that it's even worse because look, this is an ongoing storyline. There's never been like, you can't just be like, I'm dropping the title. I'm going to hand the title in and then someone else. It's better to let someone beat you and continue the storyline.
And I don't care. Bret Hart would never do this, I don't think, but he still had Alundra Blaze in his mind. Alundra Blaze going on WCW television and throwing the women's title into the trash. And he did not want to see Bret Hart do the same on WCW with the heavyweight championship.
Right.
He didn't. And people can swear up and down. Bret would never do that, blah, blah, blah. I agree. Probably would never do it. Bret Hart's a professional. I doubt he would. But you never know. If he comes over and if Ted Turner, because Ted Turner owned WCW at that point, came and said, I will give you $10 million to do that. I mean, what, you know, I'm sorry, guys. One of the people I 100% believe in is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Everyone's got a price.
Yeah, I'll throw the belt out for $5. Uncle, hey, Uncle Vince
Yep.
doesn't care if it stores. Yep. Brian. Oh, hey, Brian.
Yep.
I didn't even know Brian. Hey, how's it going? Either know me, thought she was the same level, or Sasha.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah. Naomi got like, and even the other Funkadactyl, Cameron. Mm-hmm. She came out and said Naomi got suckered by Sasha Banks.
Right.
And I agree with that. I think she got suckered. I think Sasha's like, it's you and me. It's like,
yeah,
Sasha, it's never you and me. It's Sasha.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. That's how it is.
Yep. Yeah, Sasha Banks doesn't care about anybody except for Sasha Banks. Maybe she cares a little bit about Bailey or something, but like,
she's got her friends, but I don't think.
But Naomi was not one of them. I don't think.
No, I don't.
Or at least not enough.
She was friendly with Naomi,
right?
And I think emotions got the better of it. I think Sasha charged up because Sasha's the one who went and complained originally, not Naomi.
Right.
And I think Sasha charged up Naomi emotionally, and Naomi made that emotional choice, and she paid for it. Yep. Sasha Banks is the cousin of Snoop Dogg. Sasha Banks has been in the Mandalorian. Sasha Banks will find a job. Who is Naomi if she's not in a tag team with Sasha Banks?
Right. Yeah, that just sucked, eh? Like, I mean, she's just like kind of screwed herself for no reason, really.
Yeah. She got suckered.
I don't know. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. He was the guy who took it too far. There are guys like that. You know, Vince talked famously about Ahmed Johnson, where the real guy's name was Tony something, and he said he thought he was Ahmed Johnson for real, and he wasn't.
Yeah, I remember that. Ahmed Johnson thought he was Ahmed Johnson. I remember people saying that.
Yeah. It's just so. There's guys who take it too far. They start to believe they are that character, and it's it's almost like, you know, like a split personality thing where you start to believe your own stuff, which, you know, cheap plug. I wrote about that sort of thing in Random Acts of Violence. A person who believes they're
the link to Steve's book is in the. The link to Steve's book is in the description of this video, plus all my other videos. Okay, let's go on to Raw. We had Bex and Lita arriving and, you know, talking about the bucket list and all that stuff. It's like, okay, fine. We had Asuka versus Carmella. Carmella tapped out to the Asuka lock. Bianca came out, and then Carmella came and knocked her around. I like this Carmella better. We talked about this a little bit last week. I like green too, so I like the green that she's got. But Carmella is much better as this version.
Yep.
We know Asuka's like the damn best. So
Asuka just, she hit her with that one backhand, and you could hear it.
Yeah,
you
that was
heard
good.
It. Like it was a good backhand. I'm back to not liking Corey Graves calling Carmella's matches.
Right.
Just he goes on, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't like it. Right. Carmella looked good. She dominated quite a bit of the match, which I found interesting.
Yep.
Asuka's awesome though. I love the makeup. I love the new wardrobe. I love her smiling all the time. I just think that's great. I would have liked to have seen the exchange between her and Bianca, but it's like Bianca's not going to wrestle Carmella, which, okay, whatever. But yeah, it was Asuka always shows up, and Carmella, this is her best version for sure.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, Oscar was awesome. We knew this wasn't going to be too crazy because we've got the match coming. When is WrestleMania? Still, do we have any? There's no other pay-per-views now in between, right?
Right.
WrestleMania is it March or April? Yeah, I thought it was usually April.
It's early April. It's like
it's early April,
beginning of April. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's all coming up. Sorry, 1 second here. I'm gonna
it's
fix
first weekend in
thing.
April. It's like the first and second.
Okay. There you go. I fixed our background. Hold on.
Nice.
Boom. There you go. Okay. Yeah. So that was good. Then we had Piper Niven, who I just added, versus Candice, and like Nikki was there. That was weird.
Yeah, they're really going all out with this Nikki, Carmella, Nikki Candice team up, which I'm like, okay, well, at least you're giving them something to do. Like I like there being storylines for the ladies at least. And it is an odd pairing, which is kind of nice. Candice beating Piper Niven was a bit much to me.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
Yeah, it's just not. It wasn't believable at all. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Joe, what's up?
No problem, Joe.
That's okay.
No, I agree with that. I that was my initial reaction is, listen, Vince, you let him go. And then you got pissed off he went to WCW. Well, where was he going to go? Did you want him to go to New Japan? Do you think he'd make the same money in Japan that he would for working for Ted Turner when he was throwing money around like
that guy? Yeah. Ted Turner wanted me to join.
Yeah.
That's how pumped it was. I was like, nah, I can't. I can't.
He's like, come on, Jay, man.
I've got that bum knee or whatever.
Yeah.
The ring looks great. Just imagine yourself climbing to the top rope and jumping down without doing anything. Just climb up and jump down. It's like, it seems pretty high because we saw it live. You're like, that's pretty high.
Yeah. It's a pretty impressive. And the ring's not that big. It's not that like long.
It doesn't. No, it's not. But like going up high is like, whoa. It's like,
it's impressive.
I mean, I don't even go up. I don't even jump off my couch. Never.
Wouldn't even jump off a stepladder.
Candice and Nikki are the new Candice and Indy. Okay.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. They formed a new way. I don't know. I just like Nikki as the crazy, lonely wrestler. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I like Nikki. I like Candice. She's okay. I got nothing against her. I'm not. It's not when she comes out. I was like, yeah, but I don't barf for anything when she comes out. Yeah, the thing with Damage Control saying it's sour. Oh, I'm not a fan of her beating Piper Niven though. That was a bit like I don't think that should have happened. But yeah, then we had Damage Control interview, which is saying it's our story, blah, whatever. And then we had Chelsea and Carmella, which are they going to be a team now? I don't know.
Chelsea? I don't know, man. I love Chelsea. Yeah. I love her. Like I don't know where Ottawa is. He's like, you're from Canada. Like
that was so funny. And it's like, and look, it literally says Canada. Like, I don't know why Carmella got through. Like, it's so weird. It's like somehow Carmella gets the pat. So it's like he doesn't like Chelsea, but he likes Carmella, but they both think he's a goof.
Yeah.
And they're both the same. So I was like, why is one getting treatment?
Well, Carmella is because she thinks everyone's a goof, where Chelsea was just begging on him. And I think it's because she begs on him every week.
I see.
Personally, I love the team of Chelsea and Sonya Deville because it was so ridiculous. I don't know. Like, they're so oddly matched. I thought it was good. A good team.
Well, then if they do Carmella and Chelsea, that'll be fun.
Well, they're more compatible, I think.
Right.
Character-wise.
Yeah.
I saw Maxine Dupree was back too with Maximum Male Models.
Man, she's a good looking
She,
woman.
yeah, she's a good spokesperson.
Damn. Yeah. And then, man, if Otis joining the male models is like the best idea ever. Otis, like I'm telling you, when that action figure comes out, I like action figures that can be used as projectile weapons. Like you're just like, damn, like who was the first I always wanted King Kong Bundy in the big ones, the LJN, those big guys. But I got Captain Lou Albano. I'm like, I'll settle for him because he was a weapon.
Yeah,
Like
man.
like if you got mad at a kid, the kid throws like Rick Rude at you. You're like, yeah, okay. But if you throw Captain Lou Albano and that kid is going down.
Well, if you threw Earthquake at him, that would probably kill him.
That's why Earthquake's my ultimate. Oh, you said Earthquake. Let's throw him on here. Let's get him on here. Where's my Earthquake? I'm just added one. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Hercules Hernandez is murdered. There's no way that is not obscene. Just that.
I don't know. I cannot wait. They're doing the He-Man style figures with WWE. The only person I haven't bought any of them. Sorry, they did a Masters of the Universe WWE mashup, but then they did those style figures. So like Origins, He-Man Origins. So they did He-Man Origins. They did Masters of the Ring or WWE Origins, which is a mashup of He-Man and wrestling. Then they just did wrestlers, all in the same scale, same posability. You can change arms around and all that. So Earthquake and Typhoon are coming out. I don't know when they're coming out. I'm like 100. I don't like buying a lot of toys. I know that just sounds outrageous, given my background, and my background. But I'm trying to cut down on toys. That said, 2 weeks ago, I bought a Hayden Christensen toy from Star Wars, which is like, do I really need this in my life? But I guess I do. I'm like, I despise Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones. $26.99. Here you go. And it's like, why did I buy that? And I'm literally in the car. I'm like, why am I buying this? I'm in line. I paid for it in Toys R Us. Walking to the car. I'm like, why did I buy this? Came home, put it right there. I'm like, why did I buy this? I'm just such a sucker for Star Wars stuff. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll get Hayden Christensen. It's like, why?
We have had marathon conversations about how much the prequels suck.
I know. I've watched The Phantom Menace. I watched it twice a week for about 3 months. I've seen Phantom Menace like 47 times. It's like Beetlejuice. It's like, he goes, what does he say when he goes, I've seen The Exorcist just about 157 times and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think? You think you think I'd scare you? But anyways, I've seen it like so many times. Okay. So let's see
okay, so
let's do we'll do a couple comments real quick. Sorry, I don't get Candice LeRae. Yep. Okay, never got to see her in NXT. I didn't see her either.
Yep.
I agree. She doesn't stand out, but she is kind of cute, so I like her.
She's cute.
Oh yes, I do. Firstly, I love Afro hair thingy. I pretty much like afros in general. Just Cleopatra Jones, she was rocking that afro. I like the afro.
Man,
yeah. Oh, that would be so good.
If they did Shockmaster, Brian.
Oh, I'll buy Shockmaster. Yeah, remember they did the Shockmaster figure where he's falling out of the packaging. I'll show you guys a picture of that Earthquake or whatever. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I had this. If the writers are geniuses, I've just come up with a scenario that I think you would love. Is they get Otis?
Yep.
Like, yeah, we're building the business, but we need something else. We need someone else. We need Dominic Mysterio to join the Maximum Male Models.
Yes,
And
like
if they
that'd be the
get Dom
best.
in there as a Maximum Male Model,
Yes,
I mean, that would be the end of it.
that would be the end of it. That would be awesome.
Like, J-Man would just want to watch the Maximum. He'd want them on every show and every minute of every
No,
show.
they need to do an Otis. I'm telling you, they need to do an Otis figure. I'm going to show you the Earthquake one. I found it. Hold on.
And I even think like Dom trying to convince Rhea to become a Maximum Male model would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes, that would be awesome. All right, I found the one I'm going to show. I'm going to show you guys. Hold on. I'll just upload it. Desktop. Earthquake. So he comes with his cloth thing that you can remove, and then his earthquake things underneath.
Oh wow!
So this cloth part goes over top. He's got all the elbow pads and all that. So I don't know. I'm gonna search Big Bad Toy Store for that.
Because he had that other. That looks like his alternate. Like he had the blue,
They're both
the black, and the red. Yeah.
No, so the black and the red is a cloth thing
Yeah.
that goes over top of that, and then you can
Right.
remove that, and then the blue's underneath.
The
So it's
blues
both.
Yeah.
It's both things in one, which is perfect. That they're
Yep.
really good like that. Anyways, okay, so let's go to the poll. We got 5 votes. Oh, interesting. So 40% say yes, it's about time. 40% say no, that was stupid, but then 20% yes, but not in this way. So overall, 60% are in favor of them losing the titles. So that's probably like 3 votes. It's probably 2 votes for, hell yeah, 2 votes for no, and then 1 vote for yes, but not the way that they did it. Another video should be
Flop Dollar.
Really
Ex-con Dom needs a big boss man to feud.
Oh my god!
I was thinking that, Brian. I was like, where is the police officer character? Like, bring Emma back as the police. She's got the glasses. Give her the hat and that, and she's like, it's not funny to mess with the law, Dom. And then that would give Madhouse Moss or Madcap Moss, like Madhouse Moss, Madcap Moss something to do.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. I love when $1 Million Man was got Big Boss Man. He goes, my belt was taken from me. He goes, and what do you do when something's taken from you? You call the police. And then like Big Boss Man came in, he's like, I'm gonna take you out. I'm like, I don't think he's an official police.
My favorite was when he got the IRS, so then he didn't have to pay taxes.
Oh, Money Incorporated was awesome. Remember when IRS showed up and stole all the poker money?
Yeah. Like, this is a tax collection or whatever.
I mean, whoever thought of a tax collector wrestler?
Well, I mean, Repo Man. Like, Repo Man is the all-time genius character.
Oh, Repo Man is really funny. Firstly, I like the movie Repo Man, but no, that is genius. Oh, and that reminds me too. I want to show. Gosh, I want to show somebody. It reminds me just because of a random thing. I want to show something. I'm gonna add this to second, but no, Repo Man is just the greatest, man. That is like so awesome. I wanted to show everybody just because this just reminded me that one of my channel subscribers, I don't know if he wants me to name him or not, but actually did some art for me and drew this. I'm going to show it to you. It's pretty funny. He did me as He-Man, and I thought, wow, this is so cool. So it was just so awesome to have someone do that. Which is total jokes. So that I'm actually gonna use that in my Twitter, on my Twitter account.
Yeah, that is an awesome one.
Yeah, I love the Mountie.
Oh, the Mountie was
like the Quebecers or whatever, and then
Jacques.
Jacques. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mountie was terrific.
He always gets his man or whatever. All right, so Damage Control versus Lita and Bex. Trish came out on the side there. We had the Twist of Fate. Lita pinned Io. So what happened? Like, okay, first of all, what do you think of the match, and then why is this happening? Like, what happened with all? It just is it because they're just not going anywhere? You think, or
Well, a couple things. The match itself, Lita appeared to be running underwater a lot.
yeah,
She was really none of the other than the Lita salt. None of the moves looked particularly good.
I think she's just done.
She was very rusty. If
Yeah.
I'm going to be generous and say rusty, because I remember she had a hell of a good match with Becky.
That was a good match with Becky. Just that whatever, not too long ago when Becky was
Yeah.
bad or whatever.
Yeah, just before WrestleMania, I think last year.
Yeah,
She had a pretty decent match with her, but this was just because Lita was such a great in-ring performer. Just to see stuff like that, I was kind of like very, very heartbroken to see that, because she's one of the all-time greats. There's no doubt about it.
for sure.
And it felt very, very broken with her. Like, even when she's supposed to run to the ring, it seemed like they were waiting forever for her to come off the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. Becky is Becky.
Yeah, she's awesome.
You know, Damage Control themselves have never really impressed on me that they're that great in the ring.
Yeah.
This again, they were okay, but they've been consistently okay.
Right.
So I feel like they realize that if they're going to have Ronda and Shayna challenge for the tag belts at WrestleMania, which I'm guessing they're going to, because I can't see it being Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Shotzi and Natalya at WrestleMania. Like, that is a born go to the bathroom match.
Yeah. Even though I'm wearing my Shotzi shirt.
And Natalya's one of the best of all time, and I like Shotzi, but you need to give them a higher platform if you're going to make this tag team work. And Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey versus Becky and Lita is a hell of a bigger draw than the other match.
But I mean, Ronda and Thing are going to just like they can't, like Becky can't handle both of those girls.
No, but I think it's more of an interesting thing where it's like, can Becky do more? Can Lita get, back to a semblance of Lita, right? Like, because Ronda Rousey has excelled lately about getting her frigging ass kicked. She's got her ass kicked in pretty much almost every match, even when you don't expect it. But I think that's just a bigger draw. You're not going to have them versus Damage Control because they'll just frigging murder Damage Control. And then you have one stiff wrestler and one stiff wrestler versus one okay wrestler and one okay wrestler, and all four are heels.
Right.
No one's going to want to watch that match, right? So you have to get it off. My thing is they should have done this a lot sooner. Because they had matches with, Becky's taking on Bayley and she's taking on Damage Control. And that's been going on since prior to the Rumble?
Right.
Right. When Becky came back, I think it was for War Games. And she was feuding with Damage Control since Survivor Series.
Right.
You should have set this up way later, because now it feels rushed. Now it's just like Shayna and Ronda are going to challenge for the belts, and I'm kind of like, yes, Becky and Ronda have history, but otherwise it's kind of like two people versus two people randomly 5 weeks before WrestleMania.
Yeah, like what are they going to do now? They're going to have to really hype up this feud or something.
Yeah, you're going to have to accelerate it, because that's the only reason you have them win the belts, in my opinion. Right? Damage Control, just all due respect to Dakota Kai and Io Sky, I did not see them meshing as a team very well. And I just like there was too much where I was just like, even this match, Io Sky still hit that stupid uppercut, and I'm like,
I saw
it does not. And Corey Graves is doing his best to hype it, but I'm like, it's not working. It just looks weird, right? So I think they had to do this, but they needed to do it a lot sooner. And I get why they included Lita. Is there not someone on the roster they could have elevated to be Becky's partner?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like the Lita thing. Brian's saying she was like that in her. Yeah. That he's talking about Lita when we were talking about. Yeah. I agree, Brian. I want to lose the title to Becky. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's that. So I think so. Are we still at the same amount? So I think if I was answering my own poll, options are yes, it's about time. Yes, but not this way. No, that was stupid. I would say yes, but not this way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not. I like Damage. Well, I've got their autographs right there. You have them too, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. So it's like yeah. So I mean, I love Bailey, but Damage Control is not working in this way. So if you watch that aerial interview with her, she goes through it all, and everything she's saying is very good, but they just didn't do it properly. Like, she's like, "Oh, I like Io Sky, I like Dakota Kai, that's great," but they needed to be more cohesive, and it almost needed to be. Remember when Demolition was Axe, Smash, and Crush?
Yeah,
and it was like they were almost interchangeable guys. Like, you'd be like, it almost feels like it should have been more like that, where it's like, at any moment, like someone else, it's like can come in or whatever. I don't know. It just they weren't doing enough damage. That was the whole thing. Like
that was, and the problem is too. And this is again, all due respect to Io Sky and Dakota Kai, is if you're going to do that, you need the very best in the business to run that. You needed the 4 horsewomen minus Sasha Banks. You needed Damage Control to be Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte. That would be Damage Control, because you got 3 bona fide Hall of Famers, no doubt about it. Top of the business, top of the game, can win all the bouts very easily. That is Damage Control.
Yeah.
Not 2 people who've been toiling away on NXT and in mid card to upper mid card to, I think Io Shirai won the belt. She was champion for a while, but she was just there, right? Like a Mandy Rose would have been in Damage Control if she was around. Like, I'm talking about, you need the upper echelon to really run a Damage Control team.
Or you get the big women, like what we said earlier.
Yeah.
If you have Bailey and then she just gets 2, get a Raquel and get a Rhea Ripley or somebody, like 2 big beefed up women. It's like, okay, there you go. It's like, and now we take care of business, because it's like these 2 girls are too small. Like, either you get high caliber people, like if it's Becky Lynch and Bailey and Charlotte or whoever, that's insane. Like that's almost too powerful.
Well, that's what you needed though for that.
If you're doing NWO,
if
you're doing Damage Control, which is supposed to be NWO.
The whole angle is, we're here because the quality of the female division is lacking.
Right.
So you either do a Nexus thing where you have all the top tier guys from NXT come up and they're just a team running ramshot. You needed 5 people. I agree with Bailey on that. But you needed the top 4 women from NXT if you want to do Damage Control, or you do the 3 horsewomen together. That to me is the only way that angle works. Getting Dakota Kai, multiple tag team champion, and Io Shirai, who was a one-time women's champion, won't cut it for a Damage Control team.
I mean, I would have done. Let's go through some of these comments, and then I'll give you my quick.
Yep, that's exactly
that is what they wanted. Yep. Oh,
I think Trish, that would work. I would like that. To be honest with you, Joe, I would like that a hell of a lot more than Becky and Lita versus Ronda and
Ronda.
Shayna. I don't think you give Shayna and Ronda the belts
Yeah.
at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what I would have done back at SummerSlam is I would have had Bailey come out and you're like, okay. And she's like, oh, talking shit about these people. And then you have your two. I like this idea that, it's like, let's say it's Raquel and Rhea or two people that are big, big women. They come out and they look like a tag team, like they look the same, like Demolition, but women.
Mhm.
Or like Road Warriors or whatever
Mhm.
they were called, Doom, Legion of Doom. But like two beefed up women come out and you're like, who are these women? What are they doing here? And then they just start beating up Bianca and Becky or something, right? And then they turn to Bailey like they're gonna beat her up, and then she hugs them. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm with you guys. And that's how you introduce new people.
Yeah.
So there is limited options, like what you're saying. Option A, you take your 4 or 5 top people from NXT to give it some sort of weight with Bailey as the lead, or you just bring out your big guns, your top 3 women. You're like, that's the new faction. Or I like my idea too with, if they're new people, they can't be Io Sky, who anyone could beat up, and Dakota Kai, who's a toothpick.
Yep.
It's like, I like the idea of having 2 big muscle women come out and you're like, whoa, who are these people? And then beat the crap, and they just destroy. Like Bailey is like almost their manager.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, they just destroy people, and it's right. And I would have even to do Demolition. Imagine if it was Demolition but women. That would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, I knew Damage Control was going to be a challenge from the start. When Bailey came out, then they had Dakota come out, then they had Io Shirai come out, Io Sky. And the 3 of them were standing there, and Bianca Belair had a smile on her face. She's like, oh, yeah, yeah. I'm like, no, this is wrong. You should have Triple H has his detractors, but one of the things he always was good at was putting over, no matter who the hell he was, by his reactions. Mick Foley came out as Cactus Jack, and Triple H literally looked like Jacob Marley came back and told him 3 ghosts were coming to visit him on Christmas Eve. Like, it was that horrified, terrified, frantic look. Right. That's what you needed right off the bat from your top face, who was Bianca Belair, when you introduced these 3 characters, and she was smiling.
Right. There's no fear.
There's no fear.
That's what I'm saying. If you have like 2 big powerhouse Demolition style women who are like the villains or whatever, and they're super powerful, that scares people.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, here's Io Sky and thing. It's like, oh, okay. Like Bianca Belair could be both them up, no problem.
Yeah.
So like, how is that like fearful?
But the problem is that, so their look wasn't good, but they had no impact in the ring. They just never got above. Yeah. They just never did. They would have Io Sky would do an occasional really good move.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai would do an occasional really good looking move.
Right. And
but it was occasional.
A couple of others or whatever.
Yeah. It was occasional. You needed, if you were going to introduce these 2, they had to be the equivalent of Asuka and Bret Hart.
Right.
In the ring, where everything looked good.
Yeah. Piper would have been good instead of Sky.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, I like the idea of now. I'm really getting pumped up for this female Demolition idea, but like 2 or Road Warriors or whatever. You don't have to call them that. You can call them whatever, right? Like, I don't know, call them something else. But they come out and they're like big, huge, like, two Raquels or something like that, right? Or like, but even big, even like two Chinas or something, and they just destroy people, and they don't talk. Like they just come out and destroy, and then they don't react. Like people are like, oh, you're an idiot, and they just like have no reaction. And Bailey's like, I went and found the two biggest women on planet Earth to take control of the women's division, and that's what's going to happen. And it's like you're going to bow down to me, or whatever, or we're gonna just stomp the crap out of you, and literally have them, and they should have them come in and like stomp the women and force them to kneel to Bailey, like, and bow to her and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like it's like I am controlling you guys.
Yeah. That's an idea. Like they created the Shield. Now you weren't around for when the Shield came out.
No, but I kind of know a little bit. Like I've seen a little bit.
So the Shield came out of the audience. I don't remember him ever coming out of they may have come out of the back.
Right.
Sometimes, but usually came out of the audience. And they would come into the ring and they would triple power bomb a guy through a freaking table. And they beat the crap out of him. I remember I watched the first loss they took. It was literally, they were so annoyed. I think it was 3 against 7 or 9 guys. So it was a Shield versus them, and they lost, but they whittled it down to almost all of them.
Right.
They bombed these 9 guys, and they weren't top guys, but they weren't like 9 unheard of talents who we never heard of. There were good wrestlers in that 7 or 9. I can't remember.
Right.
And like it was an elimination thing, and it took them forever to get rid of Roman Reigns. It took them forever. He beat like 3 of them before they did anything to him.
Right.
That's what you need. If you're going to have a dominant faction, make them dominant. They're losing here, they're losing there. Bailey can't beat Bianca. No. You can't do 50-50 booking if you have a dominant faction. How many losses did the NWO take in the beginning? 0.
Yeah. Here, I'll reinforce your. Yeah, like literally, and I wouldn't have even had Bailey or anyone come in until they were ready to drop the title to her. Like if they wanted Bianca to go a little bit longer, literally that SummerSlam, if Bianca was going to lose, you have Bex, they have their match. Exactly what I said. Bailey comes out. Oh my God, Bailey's back. And she's like, oh, I'm here to compete. And you have your 2 big monster women come out. The monster women come out, literally squash the crap out of Becky and Bianca right there. Now they just also had a match, so it's not too bad, right? Because they just had a match. So it doesn't make them look too bad because they just had a big grueling match. And then they hug Bailey or they stand next to Bailey and like they grab, Bianca's belt and like kneel down and like hold it to her, and then she holds it up and then drops it. It's like, I'm coming for you. Next pay-per-view, Bianca loses to Bailey immediately. Like, and like the women can beat her up backstage or whatever. You could do it by cheating. Those 2 monster women beat the crap.
Should if you want them to be a heel.
Yeah, you beat the crap up. You beat Bailey or Bianca up before the match. Then she comes out all beaten up. They literally carry her into the ring, throw her into the ring. Bailey does like, rose plant or whatever. Yeah. And then wins. You're like, this wasn't even a match. Like, what is this bullshit? Right. And then she takes the belt. She's like, there you go. I got the belt. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, what is this? And no one can stop them. Yeah. And then you just do it that way. And then Bailey continuously has the belt and those 2 monster women just do everything. And she's like, right, I control everything. And then you pump that up for a while. Then you have them get the tag belts, and then you have them have all the, like, if you want a bloodline, you need an NWO or whatever. It's like Damage Control is not the bloodline. It's not NWO. It's not like where they're destroying people. And yeah, it works if you have powerhouse players and they're all great women. But if it's going to be Bailey's thing, I agree. If it's Bailey's thing, then you have 2 lesser people. But the lesser people are so less that they can't win against anybody. Like, I don't believe Dakota Kai or Io Sky can really defeat anybody, really. So it's like, I would think if Shotzi and Liv teamed up, they could beat Dakota Kai and so it's like, I like Dakota Kai and Io Sky, actually. I do like them both. They should just be an up-and-coming tag team or something then. They can't be part of Damage Control. To me, Damage Control is Bailey, the seasoned, or the big veteran girl, and she has like these 2 monsters with her. That's it. I don't care who the two monsters are. Get two monsters and just do that way. And that's it. And they can't be chubby. They need to be intimidatingly scary, right? Like, Shayna Baszler's face, on like, she's like my wife is like, she's like, oh, that looks like a scary woman. I was like, well, if you watch her backstage with Ronda's baby, it's like super funny. She's like, hey, it's like
she won the left right championship. Her nickname was the Bez, as in the best.
okay, Bez, yeah,
and she's beating Ricochet at some 80s game, and it's hilarious. It's
right, and she's like, right, exactly. She's just like that in her persona.
She's not wearing any makeup. It's just Shayna Baszler doing her thing. It's like it's pretty funny. Shayna Baszler actually. The problem is that because I've watched that, it's hard for me to be like mad at Shayna Baszler, and I'm like, oh man, she's awesome. I love seeing her. She is
awesome.
And stuff. I don't know. It's hard when you see that sort of thing to then take the heel aspect seriously.
Right. But yeah, I need big powerhouse women destroying everybody to where like no one can beat them. Like, and they could do like 3-on-2 matches.
The problem is, other than Raquel, there is absolutely no women who fit that.
Yeah. You got to find them. Listen, I'm just telling you the story. It's up to you to, I'm like the screenwriter here. It's like, that's going to take a lot of money. Well, that's your problem. You're the producer. It's like, I'm the writer. You're the producer. I don't know. You figure it out.
WWE seems to not go for that type. Like, I'm surprised actually Raquel's a second generation.
Oh, okay.
Wrestler, so I think that's why they're like, I can't think of any woman they've like. Piper Niven is a large girl.
Yeah, not large in that way. Unless you want to do too large, what like Brian is saying, you get maybe two chubbier women.
Yeah.
And then they do. But I don't think that's as cool as like I want two Amazons or whatever.
Yeah, it's just finding someone to do that. Like, I mean, Lacey
Lacey's pretty tall.
She you got Lacey Evans, but I don't know. It'd be hard. Like, Charlotte Flair's the perfect type, but she's not going to go for that.
No, Charlotte Flair's good the way she is. Lacey Evans in this Sergeant Slaughter thing is good the way she is. They just need to use her more. Like let's have her really kick the crap out of people. Pretty much know them and their level before they debut. Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, again, I mean, it's not my job to write your story for you, but all I can tell you is that it's not working the way it is, and that's all I can tell you. If you want me to try to figure it out, you can pay me, put both of us on the payroll, and we'll come and advise. But I'm not pumped. Like when Becky comes out and you hear, oh, you're like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, you're immediately pumped, right? Like, and say what you want, man, but like, Brock, even Brock Lesnar, people get pumped. Like, they get pumped for when he comes out. Cody Rhodes, they get pumped up for when he comes out. Like, it doesn't matter what we think. I've said this 100 times. I'd say this for movies. People are like, oh, James Cameron fucking what's it? Oh, well, Avatar 2, it made $1 billion and it's the third highest grossing film of all time. Oh, James Cameron. Well, apparently us whining about how, those movies are just okay doesn't mean jack shit to anybody because everyone's watching this movie. So you can pretend that you're all cool. I remember this happened with Titanic too. Oh, it wasn't that good. Well, it made $1 billion. I'm sorry. What was your $1 billion movie that you made?
The problem too is that, just touching on that very briefly.
Yeah.
James Cameron's still one of the few people out there who is invested in world building.
Right. Yeah.
Too many people are trying to live by the rules of this world instead of thinking about building their own worlds. And I think that's
but it doesn't matter. So people cheer for Brock Lesnar. They get their pumped, and Cody Rhodes. It doesn't matter. Oh, I don't like that Brock Lesnar doesn't show up to all the things. Whatever, buddy. Who cares? Everyone's pumped up for him. What do you want me to tell you?
Oh, I mean, no one can tell me they don't want to see him try an F5 Almas.
I mean, I don't think it's like physically possible. Like, if he just picked him up, it would be almost laying back.
I don't. I think people want to see if he can F5 Omos. Or even German suplex Omos. How do you German suplex Omos? That's 400 pounds.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't know.
Like
It's official. It's for
it's
Mania, I believe.
it's obscene. Like I'm going to watch that movie. That match just to see how obscene it gets.
I mean, it is pretty crazy. So we'll see how that goes. But we still have a couple. We still have a little bit of time. We've got so for the men's side, we got Cody Rhodes showing up. This Sami Zayn thing was pretty cool, but I think it's already done.
Like, yeah, it's run its course. They're moving on to Cody Rhodes. The problem, I guess, they're going to do a slow burn on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up for WrestleMania to challenge for the tag belts. I don't know why they're doing a slow burn that way, because that is obviously what I think is going to happen.
Right.
And they're really drawing out this Jey Uso. Is he in? Is he out? Is he by? He's just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems to me pretty pat that it should be Sami and Kevin winning the tag belts.
Right.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants, but what version of that we get, I have no idea.
Yeah, like what's Jey Uso gonna do? Did he do the big? Wow.
Yeah, he
did. My buddy called him the Big Slow. It's the Big Slow. It's like, all right.
Yeah, he wasn't the most nimble, that's for sure. But he did pick up Rey Mysterio tied to a stretcher and hit him against a ring post.
It's like Friday 13 Part 7 or whatever. I gotta get a gif of that.
I could not. As much as you don't want to see a human being go through that, it was so funny. You can't help it.
Yeah, there's got to be a gif of that Jason Voorhees slamming them against a tree. I got to find a gif of that.
But yeah, that's how it is. There's a lot of there's some stuff, again, Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, I have zero interest in.
Right.
I don't care about Logan Paul. Seth Rollins, he's so far over. Having him not challenge for a belt now, like a world belt, is a miss to me.
Oh yeah, big time.
But there's so many key wrestlers going into WrestleMania without a clear feud.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just like, what the heck?
Like it's almost like they don't know. Like, why is Gunther not have a clear challenger now? Like, who is what's his name? Austin Theory, US champ. Like, is he going to wrestle Cena? That seems to be the way it's pointing, which I'm like, well, Cena's not going to win because Cena's not going to go on a title run. He's going to do Peacemaker season 2. Yeah.
I don't get what's going on with any of that. It seems like so people are complaining. Like, Triple H wants less matches on the card.
Yeah.
And I think he wants slightly longer matches. I actually want one night again.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with one night. I think here's the thing. You have to at WrestleMania, I think the rule of thumb is every title should be defended.
Yep.
And I think you have the 3 big either spectacle matches or feuds that you built out over, the last year.
Right.
And that's it. Like Finn Balor versus Edge version 432.
Right.
If this is Edge's last WrestleMania, which I think it very well could be, I want to see Edge in that, think of that dream match where it's like, only Edge were still wrestling and fought this wrestler. I would pay money just to watch.
Right.
That's what you need for this WrestleMania, not Finn Balor 482.
Right.
Yep. I agree, Joe. I think this was the only thing they could do. They don't want to put Brock Lesnar clean over Bobby Lashley. They don't want to put Bobby Lashley clean over Brock Lesnar. Just drop it then and have a freak show match. If you want to maximize Brock, there, fine. I think Cena and Austin Theory would have a great match if Cena, like you said, is motivated and in wrestling shape. What's the purpose of that? Like, this isn't
Yeah.
a Stone Cold thing where Stone Cold is like nearing 60 and you're like, okay, this is his last match. He's just being a Kevin Owens. That's awesome. But him wrestling Austin Theory, I don't know. The only thing that would work in that favor is like Austin Theory's idol. I believe I read this growing up was John Cena. You
Right.
need
So
to run that. You need to have him go Cena and say,
just like Becky and Lita, same kind of a thing, right?
yeah. And you need him to go up to Cena and say, you were my idol, but now I've surpassed you.
Yeah. Do something like that or whatever. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Remember in Three Amigos when the German gun supplier liked Ned Niederlander, who is Martin Short, and he's like, "Wait, I know who this man is. It is Ned Niederlander." And he's like, he goes, "You do?" And Rob was like, "You do?" He goes, "Yes, it is Ned Niederlander." He goes, "In Germany, the cinema is very popular. I've seen all of your movies, including when you were known as Little Nettie Knickers." And he's like, he goes, "It was this man who inspired me to learn the art of the quick draw. I looked up to this man. I studied his every move. It was my dream to one day be as fast as Ned Niederlander." He goes, "Well, he goes, then I found out about movie tricks, trick photography. I was crushed. He's like, I never used trick photography." He's like, "That is impossible. No one can be as fast as you appear to be. I am that fast." He's like, "We shall see." Something like that. I'm just showing that I've memorized that entire movie.
Wow.
But I know I can do the rest of it. But anyways, it's like so it's like do something like that where it's like I looked up to you, I studied every move, and then I found out that you were like, a trash person and you hate it. I was like, "What? No, I'm not." It's like, "Yes, you are. You're nothing. So you're nothing compared to me." And it's like, do it that way or something. And like,
yeah,
you gotta get pumped up to like that because Austin Theory is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he is good. He's good. Like he's really like, he's come a long way. Where he's like, "Oh, you interviewed the tag champs, and that's fine, but you didn't interview me." Like, it's like, oh, okay. So that's good. It might. I don't know what's gonna happen. This 2 nights. I mean, for me, I buy all of them on Blu-ray anyways, and so I will buy it on Blu-ray. So it doesn't really affect anything. Like it could be 2 nights, but I like the idea of having one disc. You put it in, that's WrestleMania. Like make it 4 hours then, or 4.5 hours. Just do all the titles, and maybe one or two, like for fun matches. Like, I don't see why it needs to be like. I mean, if it's 2 nights, I mean, 8 hours is that it's like 6 to 8 hours. Like Jesus Christ, like that's like a work day. Like it's like you wake up in the morning, instead of going to work, you watch WrestleMania all day, and then it's done. You're like, wow. It is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I guess it's pretty neat to have something like that epic.
Well, I know who's challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be Drew McIntyre.
Oh, so you think Drew will win that finally? Because Gunther's got a good run going, right?
Here's the thing. Every time I look at Drew McIntyre come in with that freaking sword, and the man is 6 foot, like 5 or 6 or 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever the hell he is, with his physique and his maneuverability, like his athleticism, I'm like, how the fuck does this guy lose any match?
I know.
It's impossible to me. It's impossible. I'm like, I don't understand how Drew McIntyre loses. Like when he loses, I'm like, that's unless it's someone like Karrion Kross who's using his wife as a thing, or
right.
Like it's gotta be shenanigans. Just him losing. But I think someone has to be Gunther, and the only guy there was only 2 guys I could think of. You either have Braun Strowman, and he didn't do it,
right,
or you have Drew McIntyre. Those are the only 2 guys. Because Sheamus might have been 3, and that would have been nice because that was the only title he never won. I thought that was a nice story. Like he could do that, but he didn't win either. So I'm like, if Drew doesn't win, I'm like, who beats him?
I don't know. Yeah, because like Gunther's like just on fire right now. Like I don't know. It's almost like Drew McIntyre's like they don't. I almost like I like Drew McIntyre a lot, but I'm almost like I kind of don't want Gunther to lose yet. Like I don't know why. Like I just want him to go longer.
I mean, I don't know where you go with that character, and I think that if you have Drew McIntyre win, you have to have a storyline where Sheamus is like, listen, I know we've had our, we're buddies, we're the Banger Bros, and we also had our matches, and you won some, I won some, whatever,
Right.
whatever it is. But this is the only title I didn't win. You got to give me another match. Like, you need to take this stuff and do something with it. Because if you don't do anything with it, why is it there? Why even mention it? Why even talk about it?
Maybe if Gunther loses, if he loses, you can turn him face. Maybe he loses and then he's like, well, there's nothing left in life now. It's like that. This is all that there is, and it's like, if I've lost this, I've lost everything. It's like, I'm nothing now. And then, you know what I mean? Like, he's really down and someone can be like, what are you talking about? You're the ring general, come get up and all that. And then maybe he gets and then it's like, okay, or maybe he says something. I was destined to lose the Intercontinental belt because my destiny will take me even higher. And it's like, now I'm going for the world belt. Or I don't know. You'd have to come up with something. I think it's like one of these things where they're like, let's keep him winning until we come up with something for the next, iteration of his character.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something, after that or whatever. But, I mean, we'll see. So this was, our stream was just as long, but, NXT is tonight, right? Mm-hmm. So that's already on. So we'll be back to our normal, because it'll be NXT. Yeah. So next Tuesday, we should be back to it'll be our normal thing. We're talking about NXT because we talked about last NXT already. So we'll start with tomorrow's NXT. Yeah. And then I think we'll kind of be back sort of to the normal way it goes. So this week, the next stream is actually Friday. So Friday, we're doing the 80s fantasy versus qualifying match. It's going to be completely different than the space versus. We're just going to discuss which movie should be in it, and that's it. We're not going to go through all 16 choices or whatever. We're just going to pick 8. We're going to narrow it down to 8, and that's it. And then a couple weeks after that, we'll start into the actual tournament. So now I think this Saturday I have a special stream where we're going to be talking about Captain America 100. And we have Rick Verbanis joining us from the Captain America Comic Book Fans Facebook group. He also has a podcast, Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. Link is in the description for that podcast. It's great. Next episode of that podcast, they're interviewing Roy Thomas. Booyah. That's crazy. I can't believe it. So I'm super pumped for that one. But that'll be this Saturday. So we're not doing anything Wednesday or Thursday, but we're doing Friday and Saturday. So that is that. Next week, we're going to do The Last Dragon on Action Elite. So we're just waiting for confirmation on that. We're not 100% sure that's happening yet, but it looks like it probably will. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. That is it, guys. Then if I don't see you on Friday or Saturday, hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday. Adios.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.